What's up, everybody? I'm Adam,
And I'm Gary,
and we're two dudes.
having the time of our lives.
Oh, no, man. You
We're
didn't
not,
just try to sing that, did you?
I did.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
No
Nobody
one
puts baby in the
said,
corner.
that's right. But hey, that's okay. It's a Thursday night, right?
It is Thursday night. You got your drink?
I do. Little
No
gentlemen.
advertising.
Yeah, not at all. So we're not sponsored by Chick-fil-A or Houston.
Got my
But
Arnold
if
Palmer
anybody
going
is
on.
watching that has those contacts, please, by all means.
No. Oh, man. So, how's July going for? Well, how was July for you? Did you have a good July?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, I'm still in the process of moving, unpacking, doing everything. So a lot of what I have that, I have picked in the last however many months, I'm listing very slowly. I had to do new things. As a matter of fact, my wife actually bought me a new triboard today from Walmart. One of those triboards that you can use to, as a background for your items. So I had
Oh,
to throw my other
yeah.
ones away because they got so scuzzy and bent up in the move that we had to buy a new one. So I'm actually going to be getting that listing here very soon. Um, but yeah, it's just sort of been one of those things where all my items that are on there, kind of been selling here or there, and yeah, that's one of the benefits of having a lot of inventory on eBay is when you get into a slow time, that some of that inventory can actually kind of piggyback you into the next month. So when you're having a slow time, you can still keep some consistency. So
Yeah, it
what
keeps you
about you?
afloat.
Yeah, what about you? What you got going on there?
Man, July was probably the best month I'd had ever since I started reselling.
Yeah, how
Oh
so?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the official numbers. I could pull it up on my Excel spreadsheet, but eBay is charging me $291 in fees, so I assume I did pretty good.
I was going to say, I mean, if it's basically a flat 10%, I mean, that's almost $3,000 in sales, man.
Yep,
So
gross sales, and that's
you're
not
netting,
counting Mercari. That's only on eBay.
yeah, I was going to say, even if you're only netting, I don't know, 75% of that or something like that due to loss of sales and shipping and, or the service fees and shipping and all that stuff. I mean, dude, how many people out there could use, especially at this time, an extra couple of $1,000s?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And just in case there are people out there watching this for the first time coming to Two Dudes Picking, I think it's important to iterate that we are part-time resellers, meaning we have regular day-to-day jobs. We both work for the same company. Gary's got his position, I've got my position, but we go to Goodwill or something like that on our lunch breaks. We spend about 30 to 45 minutes picking at one store, maybe two if the first one was no good. And then on the weekends is when we list and pack up and sell and ship out. But for a part-time gig to fund our hobbies, to have a little bit of extra money in our pocket, it's fun. It is amazing how much the extra couple hundred or even couple $1,000.
Mhm.
Think about it like this. I'm going to steal this from somebody's post that I do not remember whose it was, but we're part time and say we make $8,000 this year net profit. That is more than a typical bonus or merit increase that you would get in a regular day to day job, right?
Right,
And
right.
if you're blessed to have a job where you get a bonus,
Mhm.
and you still make about 8,000, that's like on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's
And
how I feel about it all. And that's why part-time is perfect for me.
honestly too, it's not like it requires a ton of work. I mean, let's just be honest. You go there and you pick the goods. You already know what you're looking for, especially if you've done it for a little bit. You list on eBay with a few pictures that you take, and you write out a description. Most of the time, if you've done it right, I mean, you can list something in 30 seconds to a minute, right? I mean, typically, right? If it's something that's not complicated, a hat, shirt, something like that. And then whenever it sells, you're shipping it out. That takes 5 minutes. And then either you put it in your mailbox or you take it to the post office. That takes, anywhere between 20 seconds and maybe 15 minutes to drive up and down the road to go do it. But it's
And if
really
you
not
sell
that.
enough that you can't fit it in your mailbox, it's nothing off your back to have a pickup come to your house and get it.
Exactly. I mean, they offer so many suites of services in order to do package pickup. It almost makes it effortless at the end of the day.
It really
And
does.
another thing is you wonder why more people don't do this, because of the fact, like, you kind of feel like we should be running the competition everywhere because of the fact that, we think that this is such a simple process to make a few extra hundred to 1,000, or in your case, 2 to 3,000 extra dollars a month. I mean, who wouldn't take that deal, right? I mean,
Right.
people do game shows for less.
Yeah. I've challenged myself because I think the pandemic and COVID-19 it's obviously made online buying or online selling much easier this year. However, it's also made me realize you can just keep it going despite the pandemic, even if next year when there's nothing or the year after that. And I've been inspired to use the money that I make to either start paying off my car um, out of that account as opposed to my regular bank account.
Yep.
And that truly, that's not that much work to make an extra $600 a month.
Yeah. And I mean, if that shaves off, a couple of years off your car payment or something like that, and if you can get to a point where you're debt free faster, I mean,
Yeah,
the amount of money that you'll gain post that is just, it's phenomenal. It
it
is.
really is. Just
Uh,
got to be conscious not to just waste it in the store, but actually hold on to some stuff.
there's
Yeah,
that. There's that
yeah,
temptation, especially when you go out and you say, "Ooh, I could use that at home."
yeah. Well, what I meant was don't be buying so much sourced inventory that your bank account doesn't show the reflection of how much you're actually making. I
Yeah.
mean, doing it part time, you probably aren't doing a really good bookkeeping job of it as if you were doing it for full time.
Hmm.
But you look at your bank account number and you think, why is it so low? But then you look in your closets and you look in your inventory and you're like, oh, look at all the crap I've got to sell and list, right?
Right. Unless you're willing
So
to eat one of those shirts in case the money runs out.
that's
It
right.
doesn't taste as good. Could you eat it? Yeah, probably. But it won't taste good.
Maybe the linen would break down or the cotton. It's all natural.
I sure hope so. But
Yeah. So the topic for tonight is going to be in the realm of returns or cancellations. And I think we could even get into the conversation of lowball offers because we see a lot of that. And in fact, I think because of the pandemic and there's a lot more people online buying, you see more of it than you typically do.
right.
So I wanted to ask you, Gary, can you remember your most recent either return request or um, cancellation and tell us about that experience?
It's actually funny. Sometimes I'll initiate a cancellation. It was this last one was legitimately my fault. There was a shirt that I had, and of course, it had been sitting around for a while. And anytime you got clothes sitting around, be it things like moths or whatever that may, gnaw a hole in it, But it was actually I mean, it wasn't a very high dollar item. I mean, I think the guy paid like $15 for it, right? It was an Under Armour tank top, and it had actually been sitting on eBay now for like a year and a half, 2 years. It was almost an item I'd kind of forgotten about, and then boom, it sold one day, right? Happy days. It's like, all right, cool. I get to get rid of this item that's been sitting around forever. I go to pull the item out, and lo and behold, it has a hole dead center of it, right?
Man,
Dead center of it. I thought to myself, there's no way I listed this not seeing this hole. And I looked at the pictures, there was no hole there. So it had developed a hole, during that time. And I was like, I can't sell this. I can't ship it to this guy. And that's the thing about it, right? I kind of put myself in a position of how do I want to receive the item? Do I want to receive it where it's got holes in it, where it's not like the picture said, it's got strings hanging out of it, whatever. And the answer is absolutely not. Of course, you wouldn't want that, right? I mean, if Amazon sent you something like that, you'd be really pissed off and you would send it back to them, right? With a strongly worded email. So what I did is I actually reached out to the person and I said, "Hey, look, here's the thing. It's got a hole in it. The item's damaged. I'm just going to go ahead and refund your money because I wouldn't want to receive this in the mail. So I'm terribly sorry. It's this part of what happens. I mean, to think that as a reseller you're not immune to items becoming damaged, I think is kind of a bit of a false sense of security, if you want to say it that way. Big companies spend millions of dollars to try to figure out ways not to have their products age, damage, expire, do whatever, get eaten by rats while in storage. They spend millions of dollars trying to figure this out. You've got some totes in your house, and some, stuff in your garage or whatever. And don't think that that's impervious to damage. Your garage isn't like, the sealed weatherproof container that you think it is. And even though you put it in a tote, it's still not the same way. If that was the case, that's all Amazon would do, right? But, they
a $4 tote would protect it all.
That's right. That's right. Problem solved. Jeff Bezos will email you your check. The thing is that, it's one of those things where the way I handled something like that is be on the front foot of it. Don't try to put one off on your customer. Well, there's a lot of temptation to say, well, maybe they won't notice. Or,
No,
the kid's size,
you can't do them like that.
Right. The kid's going to put a hole in it anyway in a week, But you can, I mean, again, if you got it that way, what would you think? Right? What would be your reaction? How would you react? And
so,
I think that's what you have to keep in mind.
I'm going to tell a quick story of my of a cancellation that took place, but I want you to think of a return or cancellation that wasn't your fault, but was from the customer.
All right.
So a few months ago, I tried selling a gaming system. It was a PlayStation system, and I think I paid up on it, maybe $20, and I put it on auction starting at $20, and it made it all the way up to $87. And immediately he paid, like within 5 minutes. To me, that's immediate. Immediate enough, right?
Yeah.
And then not 2 minutes after that, he requested a cancellation. And I'm sitting here thinking, he not only bid on it, but he was in an active bid war in the last 20 seconds to get it up there. And he paid. He went through the checkout process. What possibly was going through his mind?
Yeah. The only
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of in a circumstance like that is, and I don't know why he paid, right? But he was bidding on several of them, and he was shopping to see which one he got the lowest price on, and then he can just cancel whatever because it doesn't really matter. The eBay will always have the buyer's back no matter what. I mean, in probably 99% of circumstances. And so if he canceled it, doesn't matter. It doesn't hit his score or anything like that. I mean, you can leave him some feedback, but it's not gonna affect you to buy anything. Yeah, I mean,
it won't let you leave negative feedback in that situation.
Not even a thing, right? Yeah. So, you're not. There's no risk to it. If you're the buyer, there's no risk in me bidding on 10 items, seeing which one I get the lowest price on, and then paying for that item. Again, I don't know why he paid you, unless
what gets
you were the lowest item, unless you were the lowest one, and then another one ended 5 minutes later.
And I ended up not being the lowest one anymore.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I bet you it's a string of things. And at that point, that person may not even be the lowest one. He may have gone to somebody else, at the end of the day. So
it should count against them.
It should.
eBay should have some sort of cancellation counter that, as a buyer, but that would
strike against you or something like that. At one point, I thought they did, but I'm not even sure.
I know they do with you as a seller, but I don't remember because I don't cancel anything as a buyer, so I've never gotten any warning or anything. The fact that he paid just had me ecstatic because they get what, like 3 days to have to go through the
Yeah,
actual payment process. And so
yeah.
I was like, gold, $20 into 87 plus shipping. I was happy with that.
But
Nope.
imagine if your shipping process was really quick, or you waited half an hour or something like that to do it, where you had already packed it up, like 'cause maybe it's already in a box, you've already got it weighed, and
Mm-hmm.
you bought a label, so you're now spending money that you're going to have to try to get a refund from the postal service and whatnot, and then you've got to, and let's say you went to the post office, you don't even know this guy canceled yet, and
Yeah.
then you ship the item off, and that at what point then, do you get compensated for whatever loss you're about to incur? Because your time is lost. Who knows? You may get your stuff back. You may not.
Well,
It's
it's
up
a
to them.
bid, so it's a request for cancellation. So I could have denied it or declined it.
Yeah,
Um,
you could. But then I wonder how eBay. I mean, and if anybody knows this, drop this in the comments. I've never had an issue where or situation come up where somebody requested to cancel. I said no, no dice. And then what happens? Like, does eBay still make you refund the transaction, or is it one of those things where they have your back and the
no,
money is locked? I don't know.
I think I had one. I think I did have one where somebody requested a cancellation, but I had already printed the label like you were describing, but I
Mhm.
hadn't actually gotten it to the mail yet.
Yeah,
Um, and I told him I had already shipped it because technically I had already shipped. It's not in the post office, but I've
right.
already put it up for shipment.
Yeah,
So I declined the cancellation request, and I said I didn't say anything about a return, but in the back of my head I'm thinking if he gets it and he still doesn't want it, he'll just open a return.
yeah, possible. I mean, here's the thing though. There are so many scam artists out there with stuff like this. Like, I remember the days of eBay Pass. I mean, eBay Pass was on, like, 15 years ago plus. And I remember I sold a phone, and I actually did it for a coworker because at that point I thought I could, make a little bit of side money by selling other people's items for them, and I would just take commission on the items that they would sell, almost like a consignment fee. And then I would
Right?
sell on eBay. I'd give them their money. They would give me the item, and then I would ship it off, and I would keep whatever percentage was mine, and it was decent, But the problem is that I learned that I can make way more money selling stuff for myself than selling stuff for other people, and so I
Yeah.
just kind of gave up that because it just wasn't worth the time. But the thing is that there was this chick that bought this phone from me, and I can't remember. I think she was in New York or something like that. And so anyway, I she bought it, paid. I boxed it up the next day, shipped it out. Um, 2 days later, she comes back and says, "I don't have my phone yet." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I shipped it through USPS. Here's the tracking number and everything like that. It shows it's going to get there by like 2 days from now or something like that." She says, "Well, I needed to have this phone today." And I'm like, I mean, well, what do you want me to do, right? I mean, this is before Amazon, Amazon Prime, the way we
They
introduced
wanted it the next
it.
day.
Right. Yeah, you didn't pay for extra shipping. You didn't pay for expedite. At no point in my listing did it say next day or anything like that. Why did you assume this? All right. So what happened next was interesting. So what happened next is that she um, wanted to cancel the order, right? And I said, your order is going to arrive in a day. So
This is
what?
on eBay, right?
This is on eBay. Your order's going to arrive in a day. So what you can do is when you get it, you can send it back to me. And when you send it back to me, then I will cancel your order and I will refund your money, right? So, and I'm not joking about this, right? So eBay came in, right, and says, you will refund this person's money. And I said, I'm not refunding this
Under
person.
what grounds?
Not until I get the phone back. Now, mind you, this wasn't like for $5 or $10, right? If it was that, I probably just said, screw it, just go ahead with it, right? This was $150, right?
No
150
way.
bucks in my pocket, that I would have had to give. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not refunding that. Not until I get the phone back in my hand, and then I will gladly refund them because now I have something to sell again to make the money back, right? Because in a
Once
bad
you give them the money back, they have no accountability to return that item.
exactly. And again, back in the day of eBay Pass, that's exactly what happened. So she wanted her money back. I said, yeah, no dice. I'm not doing it, right? Not until you give me the phone back, right? So she opens up some kind of case against me. Again, I can't even remember all the details about it, but she opens up this case against me. And so I still refuse until she sends the phone back, right? So bottom line, I never got the phone back. Guess what else I didn't do? I didn't send her money back, right? So the way I see it, she got a phone that she paid for. I got the money that she paid me for the phone, and we can leave it at that. Well, eBay wasn't satisfied with that result. So eBay actually came after me for the $150. They actually sent me a bill. They canceled my original account. They closed my original account, sent me a bill for $150. You know what I did? I didn't pay it. I
Didn't pay
said,
it.
no, I'm not paying this. I'm not being extorted into paying this. You can cancel my account. You can report it to my credit. I don't care what you do, but I'm not paying this. And they sure enough send it to collections. Don't care. I'm not paying this. I stood my ground on it, right? So they canceled my account and all that. Well, a couple of years later, I got out of the eBay game for a little bit after that. A couple of years later, I opened an account back up under a completely different name, of course, and all that.
This is the one you
And
have now?
it's the one I have now. Yeah. Yeah. So Universal Exports 007 has been my eBay handle for a long time now, since I think 2008. It's
Yeah.
been, and I haven't had any issues like that, but I think they changed their policy. I think now eBay actually has it where you don't refund anything until the item comes back. They actually discourage you from doing that, which again was a far cry from what they used to do. Because I feel like I got super screwed on that.
Yeah, you did.
But again, stand your ground, don't back down.
Shoot.
Cancel your account, whatever. I know I built up a pretty good feedback score. I'd have a pretty good feedback score if it hadn't been for that. But hey, it is what it is.
Man, that's a good story.
That's
But
probably my
I,
story about when a return went wrong. Of course, it's from the old days. I don't know how relevant it is today, but yeah.
I did have a cancellation I had to invoke because I had a pair of, they weren't really five finger shoes, but they reminded me of five finger shoes and
Mm,
those type of shoes.
yeah.
And it was sometime in January that they sold,
Mm,
and I tore my room apart looking for them, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So
I
just
hate
lost inventory.
that's an empty in
And
your stomach when that happens.
I know, and I mean, I just was hoping that because of it, that wasn't going to be my first negative feedback, right? I had to cancel the order. I had to give them a refund. There's nothing I could have done about it. The I did. To this day, I can't remember what I did with those shoes. I thought that maybe I had put them in a yard sale and sold them and forgot to remove the listing. But I was talking to my brother-in-law and my sister because it was their yard sale. They said they didn't ever remember selling them for me on my behalf at that yard sale. And it's like, it's just to this day, I still don't know. They're probably going to show up in the back of my closet behind all my other shoes or something. I don't know.
It'll be when you're not looking for them, and you're like, oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They just
Recently I
relist.
had to cancel another order, and no, I thought I was going to have to cancel the order, but I ended up finding that item. So I tried to sell off some of my old inventory on Instagram to some of our followers, and I got rid of some good stuff, and they were appreciative. And there was a Columbia PFG shirt that sold on eBay about a week after the fact, and I was looking everywhere for it, and I couldn't find it, and I was about to cancel it. And about 30, 45 minutes later, I finally found it in the closet hanging up when it was supposed to be already folded up in a plastic bag and in one of my inventory bins ready to go. And what had ended up happening was I was showing it off to them. So that's why I took it out of the bag, but they ended up not wanting to buy that particular shirt from me on the Instagram. So I
Mm-hmm.
just hung it and put it in my closet rather than taking the time to fold it back up. I
Yeah.
almost did it again, but it didn't happen that way.
Well, it's good.
And I get the occasional it didn't fit return, and as much as that bothers the ever living snot out of me. Hey, Kevin, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us. If you got questions, just put them down there in the comments. We're answering them all. We're talking about returns and cancellations and stuff like that. But when I think about when I want to return something because I bought it on Amazon or I bought it on Kohl's or I bought it on Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that, right? And it didn't fit a pair of shoes or a pair of blue jeans. And as much as I want, as much as it really does aggravate me, I can't really hold it against them, you know,
Yeah,
because I don't know my measurements, and not all shoes are made the same. So
yeah. But at the same time,
I don't let it tear me up anymore.
though, I mean, I don't have $1 billion slush fund like Amazon to where you can use me as a try-on service. And if it doesn't fit you just perfect exactly, or it doesn't look the way you thought, you just send it back. And now all the shipping that I paid is on my dime. I don't have a cost structure to even support that. If that was the case, then I need to bake that level of risk into my cost to say there's a pretty good chance that somebody is going to return this because it's an athletic fit shirt, right?
It's a California large.
California large, yeah. California. Whoever's watching in California, I don't know how you guys make your clothes, but man, I mean, I guess the rest of us are maybe a little bit more girthy than
In the South, we're a little bit more round.
That's right. That's right. It's all the red beans and rice and all the collard greens we eat down here.
And the squirrels.
That's where the squirrels are fattening. But I mean, it's funny because you'll say like, okay, this is a large shirt, but it's an athletic fit. You'll even put measurements in there.
Yeah.
And if someone puts it on and they look like a busted tin of biscuits, I mean, that's not my fault.
But nobody knows. Okay, do you know your measurements? Honestly, think quickly. Do you know your measurements?
I know ish what size shirt I wear, but honestly,
but you don't know your measurements.
No,
you don't know your inches from your shoulder to shoulder or from your neck to your seam of your collar at the bottom.
I don't, but I could measure it.
But those are the measurements that I used to put in. I don't even put measurements in anymore. And if somebody wants to return something, listen, you have the option as a seller, Gary, and this is what I do. I made a decision. Do I want to provide an opportunity for my buyers to return anything such as clothes and have an option to become a top rated seller? Or do I want to do no returns whatsoever, fight it when they try to return it, and never get a top rated seller status because you have to provide some sort of return service to get top rated seller status, right?
The crazy thing is that eBay is going to force you to return it no matter what you bid.
Not all the time. Well, if you if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't match description.
If it doesn't match description, but then that's such a loose category.
It's a very subjective thing.
Because it wasn't the shade of red he thought it was. And I'm like, well, how the hell am I supposed to do it? Here's a picture. I don't know how to convey what color red it is to you any more than this. What do you want, a paint code? I mean, I don't know what
an RGB code.
It's like your eyes are going to perceive color different than mine and what's on the screen, and depending on what monitor you're using or laptop or phone, and what if your blue light filter is on. All of those things are going to affect things like that. So if you say, well, it's not as red as I thought it was going to be. Well, what the hell do you want me to do about that? And honestly, what eBay could say is, well, what the hell do you want the seller to do about that?
But they don't say that.
No, they don't. Of course not.
Because they're a place where people go to buy. They want to make their 10%.
Right. They want to make their 10%. They want to keep the buyers on the site because the buyers are what generate. I mean, the sellers put out the inventory, but the buyers are what contribute to the bottom line because when you buy something, then that 10% gets charged to the seller, and then they take that money from there. So their interest is in protecting the buyer, not necessarily the seller. And of course, this is my opinion. There are going to be people that differ on that, and that's totally fine. If you live in a free country where you can have a different opinion and we don't have to go fist about it, it's kind of cool like that. But
that's true.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a founding thing.
All I
But
know is I go by, like you said, I know what shirt I wear. I know, I guess because I don't necessarily stick to brands. If I go to a store, I can try on whatever I want to try on.
yeah,
But if I want to go and buy something off the internet, that's when I do stick to brands that I know how they fit and what size I am in that brand.
I think that's
Um,
the assumption of risk that you take buying something online, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, you buy shoes online.
doesn't you as a buyer have something on your shoulders too? The headache and the heartache of having to actually pack it back up, print it off, put that mailer, and then get it back to the. Maybe you can just slip it in the mailbox, but
And you know
there's
what?
something on your back too to
Yeah,
return it. So
yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm not opposed to people sending me things back if they don't fit. I just think it should be on their dime, or eBay should refund me the shipping cost. If they're so adamant that I have to take the return, then maybe eBay should take the onus in refunding the shipping cost to me for the return label, or provide a return label for the customer. That's a better idea. You know,
you made me
uh,
want to look something up about the new eBay managed payment system, and
I definitely do that. But I
there
mean,
might be something in there about returns.
yeah, I mean, I hope so. That'd be fantastic. Like I said, if somebody wants to return something because it doesn't fit, even though you listed the size on the T-shirt, the way it's listed, this is a Nike T-shirt. It's a size large. It's this. They think they're a large. They're more like an extra large, or they're more like a medium, and the shirt's all baggy, but they bought a large anyway. If they return it, eBay should have to eat that cost. If eBay wants you to be a try on service, then eBay should eat the cost of return shipping. It shouldn't put it on its sellers because of the fact that we're already offering these things at a competitive rate to try to get the customer there. We're trying to compete with the big box industries that put their stuff on eBay as well. And so you're already at a slim profit margin. And whenever you have to return something or have a return come back and your shipping label is so now you've shipped it once, now you're going to have to pay to ship it twice. You know,
Yeah, if you're
now
charging them shipping, that shouldn't
yeah.
make that big of a difference. But if you're doing free shipping, that's a huge difference.
Oh, it is. Well,
You
I have to do free shipping. I feel like I have to do free shipping because I feel like I have to use it to stay competitive in the cost realm.
true,
Um,
I agree.
and it's it's a thing. People like free shipping. It's kind of what Amazon has kind of promoted. It's what other things have promoted. They bake it into the cost, but if you don't see free shipping, it's not there, right? And I don't know.
So
People are weird sometimes when it comes to
I
that.
do probably on most of my items, I do returns are allowed for up to 30 days.
Hmm.
Buyer pays return shipping.
Yeah,
But this is where it I think this is where it kicks you in the butt. If it's a free shipping item, like a shirt, like a polo shirt,
buyer pays return shipping, which was nothing.
I
You know,
don't
nothing cents,
recall,
nothing.
I don't believe that there's an option to deduct from your return amount due to shipping cost. So I have to assume that when eBay gives them that return label, there's an agreement somewhere that they'll be charged for that return shipping because it's not coming from me and it's not I'm not able to remove it from my refund amount either.
Right, right.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've returned anything on eBay before to personally be a buyer trying to return something and know how that goes. Have you?
Yeah. One time I did. I bought a cannonball. Uh,
I remember
yeah,
this
I bought a
story.
cannonball. No, seriously, I bought a cannonball. Like this is a story for the web, right? Um, a cannonball, like a legitimate like cannonball. So, all right, I'm a history buff, right? That's one thing I really right. I really enjoy history. I love American history. Uh, I think that there's pride in your country, and I think that when it comes to learning everything you can about the founding, who the heroes are of your country, artifacts from it. I think it's all fantastic, right? And I particularly love military history. That's one thing that really fascinates me when it comes to American history, especially. So anyway, I think I'd watched the History Channel special or something like that. And so I went online and I was trying to find some sort of artifact from the War of 1812. All right. I mean, who doesn't do that on a Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm. So I did it just yesterday.
Gary, was there beer involved? There's always beer involved. But the thing is that I went on eBay and this one guy, he was selling a cannonball. He lived in Baltimore, Maryland, selling a cannonball that was found at the site of Fort McHenry, and had paperwork where it dated this cannonball back to the Battle of Fort McHenry, which was the battle, for any of those out there who are history buffs, it was the battle at which the Star-Spangled Banner was written. So the Star-Spangled Banner flying high over Fort McHenry, the flag was still there, everything. So Francis Scott Key is writing this poem that eventually becomes our national anthem while watching the bombardment of Fort McHenry, from a British ship. And the idea that this cannonball was fired at that battle was just really, really cool to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I could put that on a shelf, and somebody's going to ask me, "What's that?" That's a cannonball. Oh, cool. No, you don't understand. This cannonball was fired the night the Star-Spangled Banner was written at the battle where it happened. That's cool.
Right, that's a brilliant conversation starter.
Fantastic. I mean, you imagine, all right? So I paid a bit for this cannonball, right? And I said, I can't even believe I'm about to spend this money on a cannonball, but I'm going to do it. It came out of my eBay money, so who cares, right? So anyway, I bought this cannonball, and the guy ended up shipping it to me. And let me tell you, this thing was heavy, right? I mean, now a proper cannonball at the time, and there's going to be somebody out there that wants to check me in the comments. Look, I'm not a cannonball expert, right? There was the cannonball itself should have weighed somewhere in the neighborhood of I think it was 28 pounds or something like that, right? The type of cannons that were firing at that time during that battle from the ships that were actually there. All of this is documented throughout history. You can track, the size of the cannons that were used on the different ships and what cannonballs they fired, right? Well, it turned out when I got this cannonball, it only weighed 22 pounds. Right? So I weighed it on my scale, right? I weighed it to see what does it weigh? Is it an authentic cannonball? Because the paperwork was a little bit sketchy. Apparently somebody had found it on that beach, that's close to Fort McHenry back, 70 years ago, and it kind of been passed down through the family type thing. The paperwork looked like it was written on that. Remember that old, I mean, I'm taking it back to the 80s, the 90s. Those things where it made it look like a document with the scroll looking font, and everything on the background paper. And it was this calligraphy font that you could do. And this was the paperwork that was associated with this to authenticate it. So automatically, my radar is going up. It's I don't know that this is legit. It's not like it's a historical society in Baltimore that's renowned and they've done all this and all that. So anyway, I look at it and I weigh it, and it doesn't meet the weight. And it also doesn't have some of the features. Like a cannonball actually has this little hole in it, where actually the liquid metal was poured and all that good stuff. It's called the screw hole. And it didn't have that on it. I mean, now mind it, this is a 22-pound round ball that fits in this space right here, right? It's heavy. I mean, it's got weight to it, but it doesn't have the correct weight to it. So I contact the seller, and I was like, yeah, here's the deal. I've been doing some research, and your cannonball is supposed to weigh this. It does not weigh this. I don't think this is from the Battle of Fort McHenry, and I also don't think that this is a cannonball. I think it's something else. And apparently there were large like ball bearings and all that that were used in machinery back in the days and stuff like that. And I think that's actually what it was because that's why it was perfectly round, et cetera, like that. Again, this cannonball showed no signs of deformation. Imagine a cannonball fired from a ship hitting a stone wall should have some chips in it, type thing, or it should at least knock it a certain way or be deformed or have some scarring to show it potentially. What if they missed? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, the bottom line is that I returned the cannonball to the guy, which was interesting because the guy was, and I'm not joking, literally begging me to not return it to him because like my family's going through tough times right now and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you're begging me not to return something that you can't authenticate that you sold to me as authentic. Yeah, no, no, I'll get eBay involved if I have to because it's enough money where that would be a thing. I said about it to the guy. The guy refunded my money. That was that. I almost bought a cannonball from the War of 1812.
I think you probably had a little bit
too much to drink. Yeah,
I think you had a little bit of beer goggles on that night when you were reading that listing.
The listing looked very legitimate. And that's actually, well, it's funny because you say that. That's one thing that I actually said to eBay is that I said to eBay that this is the listing. This is the specifications that they put in it. None of what I have found meets these specifications. In other words, I don't think that this guy is deliberate trying to defraud me, but I think he thinks it's something not what it is. Have you ever seen Pawn Stars and people think they got something that it's not? And that's what I think it was. And you know what? This guy can go to the grave thinking he has a cannonball from the Battle of Fort McHenry, but he really doesn't. He has a piece of industrial machinery that's worth.
As a seller, he took a huge chance trying to sell something he really didn't know anything about.
Yeah, massive. And again, if it had been certified, if it had actually been certified by some, historical society and all that, I probably would still have it. It'd be sitting on my shelf and I'd show it to you right now, but it wasn't. So I don't.
Let me tell you a mistake I recently made. I did some retail arbitrage at Ross, and I do that occasionally. I don't find a whole lot, but every now and again you find some shoes to flip. And I found a pair of Adidas football cleats. And this is like just last week that I sold them, just this week that I actually got the email from him. So apparently throughout the buying process, the listing process, the packing process, I never noticed that one of the cleats was missing an insole. And I didn't have a picture of both cleats insoles. For the listing, I only took a picture of one to show that they were clean, right?
Yeah.
And it just so happens that because I had recently sold them, I put them in a video in one of the videos that I recently uploaded to Two Dudes Picking, and I was able to slow it down and take a screenshot and zoom in at a particular point when I'm holding these cleats, and I notice, sure enough, the left one, the insole part is white, and on the right one, the insole part is black. So my initial thought when he contacted me was he's just trying to come up with a reason to return them, and he took an insole out. However, I had to make sure first, because this is just the type of guy I am. I had to make sure first that it wasn't my fault. And I didn't know how I was going to figure out if it was my fault or not. But then that's when it clicked. I recently sold them. Maybe they're in the video and I'll check it out. That's when I found it. So it's on, but I didn't sell them on eBay. I sold them on Mercari. And on Mercari, you only have 3 days to open a return request.
Okay.
And the same day he texted me through the Mercari app and told me this, and I'm talking with him, apologizing, telling him, please don't rate me, because as soon as you rate me, it closes the transaction and you lose the opportunity to return.
Yeah.
And I said, so I told him what to do in short steps because it's a lot to type out. And within a matter of maybe 10 minutes, he actually, Mercari closed the transaction because it had been 3 days since it had been delivered before, and so the timing was just bad for him. It really
Right.
was. I told him, I said, I will give you, I said, I can't. Mercari has your money. As long as you open a return request before your time runs out, you'll get your money back. And he didn't act on it. And it was no more than 10 minutes. I got an email that said, your sale is now closed. Your funds have been released. And that's what they do after 3 days clock hits.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, man, I am so sorry. You're going to have to contact customer service because the window has closed. You're going to have to work with them now. There's nothing more I can do from my end.
Right.
And he never responded. But in my heart, I treated him right. I made a mistake. I tried to make it right. Mercari's 3-day window closed, and I couldn't do anything about it. Legitimately, I couldn't. I mean, honestly, if I knew his email address, which you don't when you work through Mercari, you don't know how to contact them because they don't want anything to come out of out of the Mercari app, then there's no way I could have returned his money to him.
Yeah.
Mercari doesn't work through PayPal. So I can't just refund through PayPal. So that's happened to me recently. So anyway, that's returns. That's some of this crap you got to go through. We didn't even talk about low ballers or anything like that. But hey, let's play a game. You want to play a game real quick?
I love games. Let's do a game.
We're going to play a game I've come up with real quick. And it's called, well, for now, I'm going to call it more or less, like the Price is Right. And what is going on here is I'm going to show you some. Can you see it?
I can.
I'm going to show you some items that I found on eBay. And these are sold items. And you'll notice that I put a blue, I covered the sold for block. And I covered the shipping because I didn't want it to influence your decision on if it's higher or lower or whatnot. But what you're going to do is you're going to look at this item and you're going to tell me, did it actually sell for more or for less of this item? So what we have first is a Megalodon shark tooth measuring at 5 inches, 5 and 5/16 inches. It's a fossilized Megalodon shark tooth.
Okay.
The price you're looking at is $98.75. Do you think it sold for more or less?
I think it sold for more because if it sold for less than $100, I'd probably have one of these sitting on my shelf somewhere.
All right, you are correct, sir. So the actual price was $155.
Yep.
Can you believe that?
Megalodon teeth, yeah, they go for some money because I've actually believed that, and Adam didn't give me any of these beforehand. I've actually looked into Megalodon teeth because again, shark.
No, you haven't.
And so, again, I'm a junkie for historical things like this. So yeah. But
all right, y'all play along too in the comments. It looks like we got some people saying higher or lower, and higher is the winner on that one. All right, next item. I'm not sure if this will be easy for you or not. We have there it is. It is a 5 kilogram bucket of dinosaur fossilized poop. All right.
Yeah.
So this is dino poop, and we have it showing listed at $25.85. So 5 kilograms of fossilized dinosaur poop, $25.85. Do you think it sold for more or less?
I think it sold for more. I think anything fossilized, even crap from a dinosaur, has got to go for more. But
all right, so you say more. Let's
more.
See. We got some people over here in the comments. They're saying lower. Okay.
Talk about a conversation piece. It's like
Yeah,
that. It's
a
some dinosaur.
bucket of
Oh,
fossilized dinosaur poop. All right, so the real is it is more. It
okay.
is more than 25.85. The actual sale price was $45.77.
I don't know how you would distinguish that from just whatever's laying on the ground, if I'm honest.
It
But
looks like what my cat lives behind in the cat litter box.
you can sell it. Fossilized dinosaur crap, you know?
Ridiculous. All right. All right. Good job. You're 2 for 2 so far. Doing good. Now, this one
Anyway, all right.
might be a little bit more difficult. I
Ooh,
don't know.
sports cards. Ooh,
All right. So, this
okay.
is a 1989 Upper Deck King Griffey Jr. rookie card. I specifically picked this one out because it is not graded. There's no
Not
grade
bad.
on it whatsoever.
Not
All
bad.
right.
Okay.
So, I'm showing a price of $66.95. Do you think it is more or less?
It's weird. This is a weird like thing because the market on baseball cards was scorching hot for a while, and then it went from scorching hot to ice age. I think it sold for less.
Okay. Let's see. You are correct. It sold for $54.99. Man, you are on fire. You're doing good.
On fire more than baseball cards. So I mean, the crazy thing is, I have a ton of baseball cards, and I've probably got some of these cards. But the problem is going through the process of getting them graded. Now, honestly, to be honest, to be fair, if that person had graded the card, they probably could have got more. But
Yes, there
the
were
grading cost,
gradings that were going for about $65.
yeah, yeah. But you have to pay
It
for
wasn't
grading.
much more. I mean, he took a
Really?
chance and he
Okay.
only lost $10 on it, but
Interesting.
okay. Next one. And this isn't something you're probably, I hope, I don't think you're going to have any knowledge of this.
Lunchboxes. I actually, funny enough, I actually sold an older lunchbox. I can't even remember what it was, but I found one time at like an antique mall, and I bought
Yeah.
it. I think $30, and I sold it pretty good. Um,
All right. So this is a vintage 1954 Mickey Mouse, Pluto double-sided lunchbox. It's made of tin. I guess that's probably important.
yeah,
The
it is.
price I have showing here for you is $152.98. Do you think it actually sold for more or less?
Does it have a thermos with it? That's important to know. If you don't
There's
know, it's fine.
there's no thermos shown in the pictures or in the description on this.
I actually think that for especially Disney, that's a fair price. I would say it probably sold for more.
All right. So let's see here. The actual selling price was $350. Can you believe that? Uh,
Again, I said Disney. Anything vintage Disney is going to be up here, right? Even a lunchbox. If it has a thermos in it, if it does have a thermos, if it's one that came with it, that elevates the cost so much. There's literally a museum out there that is like the lunchbox museum. I've seen it on like the Discovery Channel or something like that. But
yeah.
yeah, no, I think that would be a very fair price. If you saw it and wanted to make some money on it, almost $400. Wow. So
Man,
about
the
so,
thermos being with it, you think that would have made it more, right?
oh, for sure. Yeah, if it was one that
How much
was,
more?
geez, I mean, at least probably another $100, I would imagine, because the
All
thermos
right.
makes it complete. And lunchbox collectors are looking for the complete set when it comes to it.
Yeah. You could
But
probably find the thermos somewhere else and then you own a complete set now.
you could, yeah, you could piece it together. But the crazy thing about vintage things, especially from the '50s, like this, is that people threw this crap away and they didn't really think that it would actually be worth something one day.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's just some stupid cartoon characters on a lunch pail that your kid's gonna bang around at school. No one thought that it would be actually worth a considerable amount of money going forward. So, but the anything vintage Disney. So for any pickers out there, if you run into anything vintage Disney and you can get it at a good price, buy it all
Yeah.
day.
Let's take a second real quick, Gary, and answer some questions that are coming in the comments
All right.
because they're really starting to chat it up. I appreciate y'all stopping by the way. Let's see. Kevin Bates wants to know, why don't you sell your Jeep on eBay?
Because no one can pay the price that I want to sell it for, Kevin.
Isn't yours a vintage, what'd you call it, an LJ?
It is an LJ, yeah. So it is worth more than your standard Jeep, of certain years. If it was a LJ Rubicon, I could basically name my price and see who wanted to pay it because they're a rare bird. They were only made for 3 model years, and so it's the one before. It's still the last two-door Jeep that has enough room where you can actually do things in a Jeep, like use it as an everyday vehicle.
Good
So
job, Kevin. You got him off on the Jeep conversation. We're never going to shut him up now.
I know.
All right, let's see. Mav7713. What are the go-to items that you always make money on? Oh, I can answer that. You want to go
Yeah, go ahead.
first?
No, you go ahead. Shoot.
I'm going to steal one of the most popular ones you're going to think of. Go-to items. You see a 511 pair of pants and they're in good shape, buy them.
Yep.
Hands down. I found a pair of 511s today. They had a hole probably the size of about a quarter of an inch. And I thought, I just don't want to mess with that. But if you find a pair of 511 pants, nothing's wrong with them as far as holes or rips are concerned, buy them. Someone will take them off your hands for 20 to 25 bucks.
They're
Easy.
by emergency, personnel, police, fire, EMS, and all that stuff. So there's a huge market out there for it. What the pants cost brand new, people are more than willing. I actually tend to buy things like I think new era hats, like baseball hats. They're quick money. You can list them pretty quickly. They're easy to ship. Things like that tend to. I mean, usually you spend $2 to $3 on it. You can usually sell 20 to 25 each time. So yeah, there's a good market out there for things like new era hats, any kind of baseball hats or just caps that people tend to like.
All right, Mav7713, hang on for a couple of more minutes because our next items are going to be what we call hot or not. All right, so just hang on for a couple more minutes. All right, last one. This I only picked out 5, so this is going to be the last one. All right, here we go. How about a Hello Kitty Monopoly board, 100% complete?
Okay.
Hello Kitty Monopoly board, 100% complete. Nothing in this listing states that it's vintage. So
do we know if it's sealed or if it's open?
it is used, so it's going to be open. Even the pictures show it's open. So more or less.
$64.95. There's quite a market out there for Hello Kitty collectibles, but honestly, for a Monopoly game, I'm going to say it's less. I see vintage Monopoly games, legit vintage ones that sometimes even go for less than this. So I'm going to say less.
Do you need to phone a friend on that one? Are you sure that your final offer?
I don't think so. I have no friends like that.
All right. So this one did sell in Canada. So we got both the Canadian sell price and the U.S. currency, and it sold for $45.29 29 cents US dollars. So you are correct. It is less.
Perfect.
Dude, yeah. For an inaugural game of more or less, you rocked it. 5 for 5.
Myself undefeated, and I'm retiring right now while I'm still on top.
I either didn't pick. I'm going to either have to find better items or I'm going to have to make better prices that are closer. You rock that. Good job.
I think these are good items. Don't get me wrong. I mean, because these are some things that people I think will see. I just think that, having done this for a decade plus, you start to see a lot of things, start to question a lot of things. So this would be something, for example, that you'll see in a good one, right? And you're going to say to yourself, how much money can I make on that? Oh, it's unique. Oh, it's different. I've got an unopened 007 Monopoly, right? because I'm a big James Bond fan and I like collecting James Bond things. So I have an unopened, still sealed Monopoly game that's 007. I haven't actually checked on what the price is, but I don't really want to sell it anyway, so I don't look. But my point in saying that is that you'll run across these things in Goodwill, and what you'll do is you'll go on your phone, you'll go to the eBay app, and you'll say to yourself, "What can I get for this?" And eventually, what's funny is it's not what you'll start to see things other than that listing. So if you type in Hello Kitty Monopoly, what you're going to find is you're going to find some Hello Kitty Monopolies, and then you're going to find other Monopoly games as well, and seeing what those prices go for. And again, I've seen vintage Monopoly games, like made in the 30s and 40s, that don't even go for 60 something dollars. And you would think that they go for more, but it just really, really depends on what you have. Some people are collectors of a certain year because it was rare that year. There's not as many there, or whatever it may be. So I'm gonna chalk this up to it comes with experience on some of these things.
Well, I'm thinking about making that type of game or something similar to it as a regular. So you're going to be the what do they call it whenever you've got the play against the house? You know what I mean? Like if we have a guest on and they play against you, it's going to be them against Gary. And so you're going to be our house representative.
Yeah. Bring your A game if you're going to bring it to.
There you go. Good job. All right. Hey, let's get ready for the next thing. You ready? All right. So where is it? I got to find the video I'm trying to play. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. You don't see it, do you?
I do not.
I tested this before, but the window is now gone. Oh, well. So let's just get into it. Hot or not. That's the section where we talk about items where you want to pick them up because they're going to be bolos. They're going to be hot. You see them, you pick them up because they're going to sell. Or stay away from them because no matter how much you want to buy it, you're just going to be wasting your money. So I don't mind kicking it off. You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, roll on.
All right. So I am going to share my screen on this one because I want to prove to you, we're going to prove to you that we have well, never mind. I can't show it off because some reason the screen share is not working anymore. But
technology is wonderful when it works. But
yeah, Dogma. Do you remember the movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck from I think 1999 called Dogma?
One of my favorite movies, actually.
That game
turns out to be Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette played God.
Yeah.
That movie is a hot. If you find Dogma and it's either in DVD or Blu-ray, buy it. Pick it up. Obviously, with everything we say hot, you got to check its condition first. But if it's in good, like new or very good, or even brand new condition, buy it. Hands down, it will sell. I personally have sold both a DVD open and Blu-ray open, and they sold for good money. So for a DVD pre-owned, $20.
Okay.
That's for an open pre-owned DVD. That's good money. You're going to spend maybe $3 at Goodwill on a DVD, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just recently, maybe in the past 2 or 3 during July, I had found Dogma DVD open, great condition. It didn't even have the little manual inside, but with a DVD, that doesn't really matter, I don't think. And it sold for $19.95, free shipping. And Blu-ray, it will sell guaranteed for more than $40.
Wow.
Right now, they're selling for they're selling for almost $50 pre-owned. If you find it in the wrapper, you could get close to $80 for that Blu-ray.
I wonder if it's like that with some of the other Kevin Smith titles. They tended to be sort of cult favorites, like Clerks, Chasing Amy, and different ones like that. Back before they were kind of along the sort of the same universe as Dog. Kevin Smith was doing universes before universes in
Yeah.
movies. And so I wonder if some of the other titles like that would be probably not more.
Mallrats.
Yeah, like Mallrats would probably be one. Now imagine that may be a rare find on something like Blu-ray, especially some of the older vintage movies. But I mean, things like Clerks 2. I'm trying to think of one of his more recent movies. They're making.
You talking about Jay and Silent Bob?
Well, they're making a new one. They're making a part
Yes,
two.
they
I
are.
can't wait for it, to be honest, because I saw Jay and Silent Bob in the theater. But yeah, I mean, anything like that, though, I think that that's a really good idea for a hunt. So because that's probably something not a lot of people think of.
So you come across Dogma DVD or Blu-ray, check it out. Make sure there's no, that it's playable. Buy it if it is. It will resell, guaranteed. What's your hot, man?
My hot is actually, well, it's kind of two things, but they're kind of very, very similarly related to each other. Actually, it's going to be three things. I can't even remember if I mentioned one before, but I'll mention it again anyway. Grunt Style, Ranger Up, or Black Rifle Coffee. Any clothing by them, pick it up because it will sell. All of these are veteran-owned organizations, and they tend to be their shirts tend to be very patriotic or very irreverent in certain ways. They have a certain degree of humor in some of them. And they're actually very, very appealing, especially to former service members, current service members, and anyone who is patriotic, Second Amendment supporter, anything like that. They tend to be very, 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 very appealing. So actually, I own a few Black Rifle Coffee shirts myself. They make great coffee too, by the way. So shout out, plug to Black Rifle Coffee. But
I got Ranger Up. I got Grunt Style. What was the third?
Black Rifle Coffee.
There you go. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, again pick them up anytime you see them. The clothes are fantastic too. They're very, very lightweight cotton. You'll know it when you see it, and they tend to have. I'm not wearing one right now. As a matter of fact, well, you may not be able to see it on camera. You may be able to, but they see how this American flag is on the sleeve of this shirt.
Yep.
Very, very similar to that, and that's how you can spot them really easily. Is that they tend to on the shelf either have an American flag there or have their logo there on the sleeve of the shirt. So it's very easy to pick out on a rack with a lot of clothes.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. My not an item that you want to pick up because it just screams buy me. You think it's going to make you some money, but I'm going to say stay away from the brand Southern Proper. You think it's in the same category as Vineyard Vines, Southern Tide, the frat boy chic, but the Southern Proper, it's gone. If it was ever here, it's gone. It's down here now.
Right.
I'll go ahead and add in there since we're on the topic. I haven't had luck with Hush Pup. No, it's called Fish Puppy, I think. I can't even remember, to be honest with you.
Is it Fish Hippie?
Fish Hippie. Thank you. And Southern Marsh. So those you would think those would be in that category with Vineyard Vines and whatnot, because Vineyard Vines is still good, but don't pick up Southern Proper, don't pick up Southern Marsh, don't pick up Fish Hippie. Those three frat boy chic brands, I think, are on the lower end of the totem pole of that category.
Yeah, I agree. They've really seen a fall off. What's interesting is if you go down like places down at the Gulf Coast, Florida, and all that, you'll still see places like selling for full retail. So a polo will cost $100, like drop a polo or something like that. You do see them. But
in the store, they're still going to be high dollar. In Dillard's, they're still going to be high dollar, but
maybe nobody's looking for them on eBay. I mean, that could be a thing. But and when you have no demand, basically the price that you'll command is going to be lower anyway. I don't know. So,
all right, What you thinking? What's your not?
So I mean, this is a big brand. This is a big brand, and it's sort of come under has sort of come under some controversy lately. It is now controversial. That's Nike. I can't sell Nike to save my life. A lot of the time, Nike is now the shoes are one thing. I'm not talking about the shoes. I'm talking about a lot more of like the apparel, clothing, and things like that. I think that for a while, Nike used to be it. You know, Nike
I
used
think
to be.
that you're catching people off guard on this one.
I think possibly I am. Of course, this is going to depend. There could be some specialized things that Nike does. I get that. Football jerseys or whatever. But I think that for a lot of people, there are so many more superior brands now than Nike that will sell better because the whatever the fabric is or whatever the name brand is that would people not agree? I think Under Armour is better than Nike. I think Under Armour outperforms Nike in every realm, in my opinion. There could be, I mean, the way that sales are, the way that they sort of carry themselves as a company is a little bit different. They tend to stay out of the news a little bit more. They fly a little bit more under the radar. They still sponsor sports teams and do athletic equipment, real athletic equipment, versus Nike, where it's a little bit more fashionable. And I think with Nike being fashionable, I think that as fashion trends tend to come and go, it sort of hurts a little bit about what they do because they sort of hitch their horse to that post. With brands like Under Armour, other brands like Arc'teryx, North Face, that make athletic clothing, like actual athletic clothing that serve a function. I think that those brands are brands that people will actually tend to go out and get. And people say, "Oh, well, I'm not climbing a mountain. Why do I need North Face?" You're right. You're not, I don't climb mountains either. There's some places that God never intended people to go, and that's why there are people frozen on that list. But anyway, the thing is that North Face makes shorts and Columbia makes shorts that are comparable to what Nike used to make, but they're all conditions gear. But the problem is that no one's buying Nikes anymore. Everybody's buying Columbia and North Face. As far as like shirts, used to be Nike's dry fit and things like that. Again, aside from jerseys and proper athletic equipment, I just think that Under Armour and other companies have sort of cornered them a little bit more, and they've given up a lot of market share for that. And I think it's even the market share is given up even in the used market because I think people look at name recognition and they'll look at Under Armour as being a more superior brand than Nike. So I'm just
Okay.
telling you my experiences because I look at the Nike clothes that I have listed, and I'll tell you, they don't move near as fast as Under Armour.
Let me see if I understand you correctly. Unless it's a specialized Nike item,
Yes,
you shouldn't really just pick up anything just because it says the word Nike.
correct. Nike still sponsors the USA soccer team. If you see a USA soccer jersey that's made by Nike, pick it up because you will sell it and you will
I
sell
got you.
a good bit
Don't
of
just
money.
pick up every Nike T-shirt you see because it says Nike on it.
Exactly.
It needs to be a
Exactly.
specialized
Yes.
item.
Yes. It has to be. It
Understood.
has to actually mean something to the buyer.
Okay, so you reminded me. I don't. I think I told you. My daughter, probably when the pandemic started hitting, my daughter started selling on Mercari, and she picked up or actually I picked it up and I sold it to her to put on there. I gave it to her. I bought what I thought was a Nike tank top, um, to sell for only $2. But when I actually pulled it off the rack and I looked at it, it was a long tennis skirt, like a one-piece tank top tennis skirt.
So specialized athletic equipment.
And it was only $2. So they priced it like a t-shirt.
And,
And I thought that is in that realm you're talking about. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
And so I brought it home. I gave it to Lydian. She listed it, and I'm telling you, she listed it. I told her, I said, mark it high so that when you get likes, you can offer them something a little bit lower, and that's actually what you want to sell it at. So I told her, I said, listed at $28 free shipping. It got within 2 days, it got like almost, I think 16 likes within
Okay.
2 days. And then on the third day it was listed, she sent out an offer for $25. Somebody bought it.
Like that. Yeah.
And so, to your point, Specialized makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because that pair of Nike sweatpants you see, it's not special. That Nike T-shirt or that Nike jacket,
running pants, windbreaker pants.
Unless it's a jersey, like what you just described as like a tennis skirt that's made for the sport, then I would stay away from it unless it's something like that. Just their general clothing line, though, I don't really have much success with Nike. Not to mention thrift stores, because Nike has name recognition. People think that the thrift stores think that we need to charge more for this. So you're usually also not getting as good a bang for your buck on things like Nike, because the thrift store will say, "Oh, it's got Nike on it. It's got the little swoosh." T-shirt $7.99.
Yeah.
You're going to sell it for $12 and not going to make any money on it.
Yeah. So, listen, let me do a little shout out to one of our watchers, CS Pick and Pop. He says, "Hey guys, I wanted to stop by and let Adam know that your enthusiasm is great and your videos are terrific. And the clothing purchase I made from you was awesome. Thanks again." So I talked earlier about how I tried to get rid of some of my inventory out of my closet because I was just bombarded with it. I sold it at cost and then asked if they would, that they covered their own shipping. And this gentleman here picked up a good number of items from me, and I appreciate it. You helped me clean out some of my old inventory, and I hope that it brought you in some good profit. So you're very welcome, and thanks for coming by and joining us for our podcast tonight.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. Well, man, I was thinking we should wrap this up. We're at about an hour, 15 minutes in, and it's been a great conversation. You rocked the game, more or less. So maybe I want to put a teaser out there, guys, for the 4 of you who are watching. I really appreciate y'all coming by. We're going to do this every other Thursday at 8 p.m., and you're not going to want to miss the next one. We've got a name you'll probably recognize. He's active on Instagram. He's active on YouTube. And, man, you're talking about enthusiasm, Pick and Pop. This guy has got loads of enthusiasm. You're not going to want to miss it. So check us out in 2 weeks when we bring in a special guest. All right, Gary, thanks for joining us.
And it's my pleasure, as always. I just wish that we could do these things in person a little bit more. Again, I think with us, being in the situation we're in, work-wise and all that, I mean, there's probably a good chance that you'll see us together again, like doing the actual show, next year. But we'll still pop in, occasionally with, picking videos and all that while we're out on our picking adventures, like the time we went to Auburn and I had to have a temperature take.
The pandemic picking.
Yeah. So I should have heated up my forehead with like a pad, or something like that. And when she scans and it says like 130 degrees, she just goes nuts.
You wouldn't get to pick a lick of thing that time, man.
Sir, your temperature's 132. Is that bad? It's
really?
Like, we can't let you in the store. I should be dead 4 times over by now.
That's great. They're still going to be doing that for several more months, dude.
Oh,
also, business cards. We made some business cards that we're going to start handing out when we run into people in the Goodwills and whatnot.
That actually happens a lot more often than you think. And also it happens like I was at the post office today dropping off some packages for eBay. And, the guy in line ahead of me, he was kind of, the guy helping me behind the counter, he was kind of, but the lady that was behind me, we started chatting about like, what were we chatting about? About different ways to ship things, right? And she was just curious about it because I think she had actually sold something, and she said that her husband was like looking to try to sell more things, right? And so I told her, I said, well, I buy and sell on eBay. She says, we've been wanting to get into that. And I said, well, and I kind of wished I had the business cards. I know we just got them in today, and I said this would be perfect for that. In the meantime, I'm ignoring the UPS guy behind the counter.
Yeah.
but him and his mask. But you know, he was genuinely interested, and you know, all that. So I kind of
Yeah. So I'm gonna get these to you. We're gonna need to maybe meet up this weekend or something. I'll get you yours, and that have them in your pocket, have them in your truck, so you can stick some in your pocket whenever you, like you said, you're at the post office or something like that. And that'd be great. That would be great.
Sounds good to me.
That's all we got. I appreciate everybody who joined us. Thanks so much, chat. People in the chat. Y'all have a great one. Take
All
care.
right.
We'll see y'all
Y'all
later.
All right.